The United States believes that it can sanction South Africa into submission. They believe that they can dictate your policies. They believe that they can bully you into compliance. But in my opinion, they have miscalculated, and they have miscalculated badly.
America's manipulation of Africa is rapidly coming to an end, and here's what happened. 15 countries, and soon all 54 nations, will be using the Pan-African Payments and Settlement System, PAPS, to trade in local currency.
Africa is the only continent that does not have to import anything. They don't need your oil, they don't need your gas, they don't need your gold, they don't need your food.
We want one Africa, one president, one parliament, one military command center, one currency that will be based on our minerals.
The United States believes that it can sanction South Africa into submission. They believe that they can dictate your policies. They believe that they can bully you into compliance. But in my opinion, they have miscalculated, and they have miscalculated badly. They believe that they hold all the power, but that's a lie. South Africa is not weak. And you shouldn't act like you are. You control critical minerals, resources without which their industries, their military, their so-called green energy transition, all of that will stall. If they want economic warfare, then let them know that without South Africa, their technological and military ambitions collapse. This isn't just empty rhetoric. This is reality. And sometimes you need to be told what reality is. What about South Africa's ports? I mean, do they think that the global trade routes that they depend on are untouchable, America? South Africa holds the key to vital shipping lanes. South Africa is a gateway to global trade. If America attempts to cripple you in South Africa, you remind them that you can disrupt their supply chains. You can forge new alliances throughout BRICS and throughout Africa, and you can make them feel the consequences of their aggression. Yes, you can. And to anyone in South Africa who says that you need their markets, you need their investments, and so on, dependency is a choice in 2025. You don't have to be shackled to that system, a system that was only ever designed to keep you weak. You have alternative partners today. You have natural wealth, alhamdulillah. You have the strength and you have the position to dictate your own economic future. Yes, you do. I'm telling you that this is America shooting in the air while they are retreating. If you stand up to them, they will stand down. Obviously, American sanctions aren't about justice. They're about control. That's always been the case. Their aid is not generosity. It's leverage. Always. They make that very clear. Their partnerships are not built on respect. They are built on the expectation that you will always remain subordinate. They think that you're going to sit back and let them try to cripple you. But I think you should prove them wrong. If they sanction your industries, nationalize theirs. If they try to isolate you, then you lead the charge in de-dollarization. If they try to break you, then forge stronger bonds with those who share your vision in the global south. This is radical realism. This is not idealism. This is not emotionalism. It's the simple, inescapable truth of power. The truth of power is that it must be met with power. So I would say to the people of South Africa, enough is enough. The time of compromise is over for everyone in the global south. The time for action has come.
America's manipulation of Africa is rapidly coming to an end, and here's what happened. 15 countries, and soon all 54 nations, will be using the Pan-African Payments and Settlement System, PAPS, to trade in local currency. This means they are not using the dollar, and this means the U.S. loses out on about $200 billion in trade, but more importantly, loses power over these nations. It's finances and culture that are driving these nations to eliminate the dollar and not Trump. Financially, PAPS reduces trade's costs from about 30% to 1%. The cultural clash is between self-transcendent and self-enhancement cultures. Africa's self-transcendent cultures value collective welfare, cooperation, and win-win scenarios. America's self-enhancement dollar system values power, achievement, control over resources, and the zero-sum game. Neither culture or value is right or wrong, each has its place, but The US imposing self-enhancement values in self-transcendent cultures is doomed to fail from the beginning, and we've been here before. In the 1960s, the French Franc zone collapsed because self-enhancement colonial control clashed with self-transcendent independence movements. In the 1980s, the Soviet ruble system failed because centralized control clashed with national sovereignty. And today, the American dollar system is failing because self-enhancement zero-sum culture clashes with self-transcendent collective prosperity. Same cultural pattern, same outcome, different decade. So what's next? In the next several years, we can expect all 54 African nations to use PABs, but the dollar reserve currency status is only slightly weakened since Africa accounts for only about 3% of global GDP and holds limited global reserves. However, America will no longer be able to block transactions and freeze foreign reserves, and this means U.S. power in Africa essentially comes to an end, especially since Trump and Musk eliminated aid to all African nations. So with nothing to entice and no power to bully, there's no reason to succumb to U.S. demands, and this is the slow but accelerating end of American global domination. Follow for more global affairs analysis and join us at culturalperspective.com.
When many people think about Africa, they think about poverty. It's often the first image that comes to mind. And now, after visiting 53 of the 54 countries in Africa, I can say with complete confidence that it's home to the most diverse sites, the most breathtaking views, the most beautiful souls, and the most unbelievable experiences that you can't find anywhere else on this earth. Africa is the origin of mankind, home to about 2,000 spoken languages. The different cultures here are astounding. Many African cities like Nairobi, Kigali, and Johannesburg are shockingly modern with all the amenities that you can find in New York City or London. The country of Somalia has some of the most picturesque beaches I've seen anywhere in this world. The same goes for Tanzania.
Welcome to Zanzibar!
Yes, poverty exists, just like crime and corruption, but these three things exist in every country in the world, including mine and yours.
Africa is the only continent that does not have to import anything. They don't need your oil, they don't need your gas, they don't need your gold, they don't need your food, they don't need your rice, they don't need your cattle, they don't need your corn, they don't need nothing. It is the only continent that does not have to import anything.
America is going to be the poorest country in the world starting now. You're going to see the biggest crashes happening right now. So that's good for me because the price of gold and silver go up.
That's interesting because most people in India until the last decade have been migrating to the US, thinking that that is where is the land of opportunity to pursue the great American dream. But over the last 2 years, we've seen an increasing number of people coming back in droves back to India because that's where they're seeing the opportunity. So that is a very interesting shift that I never thought would happen so quickly in my lifetime.
Africans, guys, are really good at two things. That's it. The first thing is we're really good at leaps. So whereas Europe goes through meta forms of innovation, Africa does one big leap. We go from Alcatel to Huawei, and we leave out Ericsson and Nokia and everybody in the middle. We'll go from Smith Corona typewriter to MacBook Pro. That's how Africa does things. And the reason we can is because the attitude in the continent I come from is let's try it. That's the attitude. It's, oh, what the hell? Let's give it a bash. See what happens.
We want one Africa, one president, one parliament, one military command center, one currency that will be based on our minerals as the African continent. Ourselves and Zimbabwe alone account for not less than 85% of the world platinum. Imagine we become one thing and we hold our platinum and say we're determining the price now, like they do with the oil, those who have the oils, the Arabs and all of that. Although their oil is based on dollar, but they are benefiting out of it and they've developed their countries based on their natural resources. So we need one Africa and we must speak in one voice. That's how the Security Council is going to respect us. That's how China is going to respect us. How can Swaziland go and negotiate with China and say we are equal to China? Swaziland, Lesotho, Botswana, on the basis of what? Size matters in politics. And the more we come together, the more the world will respect us. That structure has been there for quite some time and the world has evolved over a period of time. And if that is the case, to have these guys who are permanent members of the Security Council because of what happened post the World War II. But there's been this huge development which include decolonization of Africa and doing away with apartheid and liberation of African countries. So when that Security Council was formed in that way, we were under these people who are in the Security Council. Now we are on our own. Why can't we get ourselves a permanent seat in the Security Council? But no one must have the veto powers. It must be a decision of the majority. That's how democracy works.